But when you look at public policy, you should not look at the intentions behind public policy. You should ask, what are the effects of public policy? And you see the effect of the minimum wage if you put yourself in the place of an employer. And currently the minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. In some places much higher. But put yourself in the
And ladies and gentlemen, that's how you win a chess game in bullet 2 minute. Nah, I didn't play any sound. There's no audio. I wasn't playing any sound. I was just, we're waiting for people to get in here, and I was going to play a game of chess while I was waiting for people to get in here, and I figured I'd share it live with you. That was one of the weirdest openings I've ever played. I played the Carol Khan opening, just, to see what would happen and whatever. And that turned out to be pretty cool game. Let's review it and see where I went wrong before we get into today's presentation. Where did I go wrong? 66% accuracy. Yeah, I was just playing like some BS. What is this? A Slav defense I played? Interesting. Okay. Yeah, all of this is just like, oh, I could have kicked the knight out. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. You overlooked an opportunity to kick an enemy piece. Oh yeah, I was supposed to push the pawn here, right? Yeah. All right. I mean, what? Interesting. They wanted me to play that. Okay. I missed an opportunity to get checkmate. Oh, I had it earlier. Oh, I could have just went right away. I totally missed that. I thought I was in check. I think that's what happened there. I thought I was in check. I could have got checkmate a lot earlier. He blundered that move right here, and then I ended up getting checkmate. Wow. So yeah, I mean, so in chess, usually what you want to do is like at some point, like you could like castle and like get kingside safety. But as I get better, I'm like kind of like ignoring castling and just playing wild, especially in bullet, where it's just like making my opponent think and just playing like these odd moves. Like the king's not supposed to be in the middle of the board. I'm playing with the king in the middle board. It's completely safe there. Right. And then he wins a pawn. I'm like, I don't care. And then he takes another pawn. I'm like, I don't care. Then he brings the king over and I'm like, all right, I'll win this bishop. Now I'm like up a piece, right? And and then here, like he took this pawn, and like I wanted him to, like he doesn't even know, like I baited him into that because I just wanted to open up this rook along this file right here to attack the king, and he fell for it. And then right here, he pushed, and I had mate, and I missed it the first time. But anyway, we played, and he played that move, which is a blunder. So I took, and if he takes it back, I get mate and I win. So that's how you win at chess. Anyway, let's get into today's trending topics and today's subject matter. I don't want to bore you with chess all day. But if you guys want to learn chess and get better at chess, go to the Hotep Chess channel and subscribe. I'll bring it up on the screen here for you. It's actually down on my channel. You'll be able to see my channel at the bottom. You'll see all the Hotep channels, Hotep Nation, Uncle Hotep, Canon Hotep, and here you'll see Hotep Chess, and we do lessons Mondays and Wednesdays, so subscribe to Hotep Chess as we build that channel. Also tonight, the Grifties are going to be airing. Hotep to the family. The Grifties will be airing right here on the Hotep Nation channel, so subscribe and look out for that. For people who are not familiar, I am
that Hotep Jesus dude. That Hotep Jesus dude.
Oh, baby. Trending topics. Let's get into the trending topics. And I'm going to cover our topic tonight, or today, or this evening, or this afternoon, whatever this is. What's trending? Fast Foodies Cheat Day. Distraction, Holocaust Remembrance Day. Okay, sure. Spotify deleted Neil Young's music. Distraction, but that's hilarious. He was coming at Joe Rogan. Wow. So they got rid of him. I mean, Joe Rogan's he's the draw, right? He's the draw. So it's Rogan over this bum. iHeart Awards. The only show that matters, the only award show that matters is the Grifties. Make sure y'all look out for tonight, 7 p.m. on the 7 p.m. Eastern on the Hotep Nation channel. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We'll be in the chat. Chat gonna be lit. Excuse me. Donda 2. Kanye announces Donda 2 is coming in February. Hey. Now that's something I'm looking forward to. Mina Kimes, however you say her name, destroys NFL quarterback. Okay, well, who cares? Maybe it's important, maybe it's not. I'm gonna guess it's not. Remembering Kobe on the second anniversary of his death. Yes, Kobe. R.I.P. Kobe, the great Kobe. You guys should go watch some of his interviews that are. He did this one interview. He just talks about like how he became a successful basketball player. Completely life-changing information there. I suggest everybody watch that with the kids, the family, etc. Ben Roethlisberger is the rapist NFL quarterback is retiring. Fuck him. Eberfluss, 17th head coach is according to the league. All right, distraction. This is NFL news. WWE distraction. Wordle distraction. What is this? Byron Leftwich, NFL news distraction. NFL news distraction. People who somehow are mad at Calendly. Shout out to the black man who invented Calendly. He said he could not get anybody to invest, but he was happy that nobody invested because he was able to figure out how to make the business successful. And so, Calendly is a widely used piece of software. Shout out to Calendly. Keep going, black man. Russia. Russia officials not optimistic but willing to keep communication open after U.S. makes no concessions on Ukraine. Well, they have no choice, really. Go watch my Ukraine video on that. Please. ASAP. Ukraine, Russia, Biden, NATO. Get educated. We did an hour plus. Nikki Haley. Former governor of South Carolina, Nikki Haley, suggests that President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris should step down while discussing their administration's foreign policy and rising tensions. So it looks like Nikki Haley is getting her grift on. Shout out to Nikki Haley getting her grift on today. Susan Collins, after Senator Susan Collins said there is no need to rush the nomination for Supreme Court Justice to replace Stephen Breyer, some recall the speed with which Brett Kavanaugh was confirmed to the court. Susan Collins is getting her grift on. Shout out to Susan Collins. Khloe Kardashian, for some reason, is trending. Her doctor has done an amazing job with her face. She is no longer ugly. Let's continue. Jeff Fisher, NFL News, distraction. Evangeline Lilly, what is this? Marvel, DC, distraction. Michigan Panthers, sounds like sports, distraction. Apple Music, what is Apple Music talking about? Everything you need to know about Apple's cheaper, voice only music playing in India. We support Tidal over here. F Apple Music. Tamio, what is this? Distraction. Clarence Thomas being discussed, obviously, because of the SCOTUS pick. We're going to be talking about that heavily today. They're trying to turn Minnie Mouse into a man. Apparently, the gender benders of the left love distorting the reality of gender, and they want to obviously target kids because why else would you choose Minnie Mouse to push your agenda? It's really weird. USFL, what is this? Okay, distraction. Jags, distraction. Matt Turner, probably distraction. Yeah, distraction. Megan is trending. This is Megan Good. Let us all just marvel in the wonderfulness of this Megan Good video. Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. She looks absolutely stunning. Brilliantly stunning. First of all, I just like to compliment her taste in shoes. Those heels, oh my God, fire. The little strappy situation going on there, and the, oh my God, just, and is that white toenail polish? She is in absolutely great shape. Oh my God. Just the hair looks great. I mean, when it comes to perfect looking women, Megan Good is probably one of the people that comes as close to it as possible. Is she Ethiopian, Jabari? Oh my God, just beautiful. Just look at this woman. Just oh my gosh, what did this guy say? Making good back in the streets. She has apparently broken up with or had a separation from her husband. But you know, she looks great. She looks absolutely great. So this is why Meghan is trending, I guess, because she just looks just so stunning. Look at these pictures here. Just a wonderful, beautiful woman. Oh, wow. Is that a distraction? You better believe. Look how long we spent on that. Distraction. Sorry, Meghan, you're a distraction. Beautiful, but you're a damn distraction. A damn good one, though. Matt Turner, distraction. Beg for you. What is this? I don't know. Distraction. King Shark. What is this? Distraction. Fields. What is this? Lauren Smithfield says Cardi B was instrumental in getting the police to investigate her death as a crime. Wonderful. Good job, Cardi. Cardi's doing a great job. What a model citizen. President Pelosi. What? We're not even going to dive into that. That just reeks of fake news. Family affair. Who cares? Fake news. Dan Quinn. Something about the NFL. Fake news. All right. We've spent enough time. I love going through the trending topics so people know what happens on the day that I was doing these broadcasts, and I can give my opinion on the things that people decide to lend their attention to. Let's continue. Apparently the chat is arguing over whether Meghan is bleaching her skin or not. People do better. Opinionated Junkie, old Supreme Court dude, knows Dems are screwed. Shout out to Opinionated Junkie. First one paying his tuition today. Opinionated Junkie says Donda equals Kanye crying for Kim to come back. Absolutely not. I do not think so. I think this is going to be classic heartbroken Kanye. This is exactly the music and the vibe we need. And I think this is going to be a classic album we're about to get. I look forward to that, and the Pusha T album, which is going to be full of cocaine pushing bars, which I absolutely love and adore. And people might be alarmed by that, but your society glorifies drugs via big pharma, so I don't see a problem with glorifying drugs via small pharma. We are going to talk about Black SCOTUS in a moment. Willie Handy 79 said, my love life equals a distraction. Absolutely it is. Men, love is distraction. Love is simply a mirage. There's no such thing as love. Let's put that in perspective. We'll save that for our Wednesday night show, Crypto Wendy O. If you haven't watched that, we have a relationship show we do every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern time, where we discuss those things regarding relationships and love. Let's get to our conversation for today. And Biden and his Black SCOTUS pick. So we're going to talk about Biden and his Black SCOTUS pick. We're going to talk about apparently the Black internets were discussing, along with Tariq Nasheed, we're discussing something called Secure the Tribe. And just to give you a bit of background before we dive into and dissect that, Secure the Tribe is a movement by foundational Black Americans, or ADOS, so FBA and ADOS. I believe ADOS is American Descendants of Slaves or something like that. And these two groups were discussing how immigrants destroy their livelihood, their ability to have upward mobility. They're taking away opportunities from them. They sound like, get ready. These Black Americans sound like they should have voted for Trump. That's what they sound like to me. I don't know how you call yourself FBA, ADOS, worried about immigrants, and you don't want to build the wall. So I hope those individuals, I don't know how these individuals voted or if they voted at all. But all I'm saying is, if that is such a big topic, because I mean, it was trending top 10, maybe top 5 in the middle of the morning. I spent about 15 to 20 minutes in a room just listening to the garbage conversation I heard. Some of it good, some of it bad, the most of it just garbage and a waste of time and not dealing with the reality. And today, in today's presentation, we're going to deal with the reality of that conversation. of black people and their complaints of Africans coming over and doing better than them in this beautiful white man's country, this beautiful European satellite. We're going to discuss that. We're going to dissect racism, what racism means. I'm going to give you my definition of racism. We're going to discuss racism not only from the left, but from the right. What else are we going to discuss today? We're going to pull up some Walter E. Williams. You know, I always come with sources and opinions of scholars. Cassius Cam said Cannon will be on with Mr. Sunday Night on Uncle Hotep Factor with the brand new intro. Make sure y'all tune in. Griftonomics 101. Hey, I'm going to tune into that one. Shout out to Cannon Hotep, going to be on Uncle Hotep's channel Sunday. Make sure y'all tune in for the Uncle Hotep Factor. I would just like to know when the hell Uncle Hotep going to interview me. I am
That Hotep Jesus dude.
Huh, Uncle Hotep? When do I get my chance to be a star? Huh? You always forgetting about the little guy. Huh? If anybody doesn't know a bit of Black history, on Black History Month, I have a mission for you. Everybody pay attention, write this down, set the reminder in your phone, email this to yourself. I have a mission for you on Black History Month. On Black History Month, we are celebrating Uncle Hotep. Why? Why are we celebrating Uncle Hotep? Uncle Hotep was the first black man to wear a MAGA hat. How about that for a moment in Black history? In Black History Month, we will talk about Black History Month in Black History Month. Yes, I will be doing a talk on that, and I will debunk Black History Month. I will tell you why there's no such thing as Black history, but you have to wait for Black History Month to talk about that. So subscribe to the channel. Subscribe right now. Subscribe. Hold on, let me move this over. Oops, well, not that one. Whoops, sorry. Like and sub. Let's slide you over here. I'm sorry, I should have had this in before. I haven't used it in a long time. Like, subscribe, sub, but most importantly, share it out. I'm going to go to my Twitter feed right now, see who I shared this out. Shout out to the wonderful people who have. I appreciate you. You are great. I'm going to shout you out right now. Shout out to Johnny Rodriguez. Hola, amigo. King TV. Appreciate you, said big homie. Hotep Jesus live right now. Get smarter. Yes, this is where we play big brain content. All right, guys, I'm done making you wait for this content today. Without further ado, we're going to talk about Biden and the SCOTUS pick. So first, what we have to do is we've got to put this up on your screen. I'm not going to play the video. I am not going to read the article. I am simply going to just put this on your screen so we can see the faces that CNN purports to be the most likely picks. We have Ketanji Brown Jackson, Leandra Kruger, J. Michelle Childs, Wilhelmina Mimi Wright, Eunice Lee, Candace Jackson Akiwumi, and Sherilyn E. Phil. What do these black women all have in common? First of all, this one right here is definitely racially ambiguous. This looks like an Arab woman. And I know we have Afro-Arabs and she could be a mixture, but this, if you ask me, looks like a woman from India. This might be one of those Kamala Shimshams. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that, but I just said it. So whoever's upset, I apologize now, but I don't apologize. See what I just did there? But these look like black women. I know ADOS are going to be mad because, well, this woman right here, her last name is Efil and Akawumi. These are probably immigrants or children of immigrants. I'm just going to go ahead and guess they're African. I've not done research on these women. Actually, I've done a limited amount of research on these women. Looks like the article here from CNN has given us a bio on some of these women, right? Hold on a second. I just want to bring that Arab woman. Who is this? Where is she? Leandra. Okay, let's see. Where's Leandra? Do they have a profile on Leandra? Okay, here she is. Okay, Leandra doesn't look that Arab here. She just looks like a light-skinned woman. I do see Kamala in the background with the smirk on her face. So sorry, Leandra. But why do I not care about these women's background? And I may at some point. I thought this was Issa Rae. Why do I not care? Why is this irrelevant? Why is this their background irrelevant? There's only one thing you need to know about their background today. And it's the fact that they're all liberal. You see, people, Biden, let me adjust my mic here. Mr. Biden, Jab Crow Joe, doesn't exactly want a black woman as SCOTUS. What he wants is symbology. What he wants is a token. What he wants is an agent of liberal, socialist, communist ideology and agendas. They don't want a conservative or a Republican black woman. This is why they should just stop lying to us and say, hey, we want a black woman pick. No, you want symbology so you can deceive the black community. Put one of these black women into this seat who, I would just take a guess. I would like to speculate that if they were in that seat when SCOTUS was deliberating on OSHA and the mandates of the Jabby, they would have said mandated. They would have voted for mandates. I'm just guessing. I could be completely wrong, and I would take all the blame if I am wrong. If they say no, we wouldn't have, I'd be like, well, damn it, woman, thank you. I'd like to see you in that seat if you're gonna be fair. The sad part is I don't think so. I think what they'll do is they'll go along with everything the liberal and Democrat party wants. And you know what happens with liberal democratic policies and ideologies? You know who gets hurt the most? The black community. That's who. They will use a black agent to destroy the black community. They will use a black face to destroy the black community. They use the black face in the presidency to ignore the black community. What happened when we had a black president and Flint, Michigan said, yo, is something wrong with the water? Maybe some of y'all need a reminder. Do y'all need a reminder? Let's put this reminder on your screen. Let's see if we can pull this up. This is your president. We're gonna put your president up on the screen in just a moment here, as soon as YouTube stops playing this commercial. But let's show you what your president did when Flint, Michigan. Some of you over the past few years have blamed Trump. You said, oh, Trump, you didn't do anything for Flint, Michigan. Flint, Michigan. Let's see what your beloved black president did. Hey, Darlene, roll the tape.
It is. There you go. You know, generally I have not been doing stunts here, but, you know.
There's a stunt. Generally, I don't do stunts, but how about this one? How about this publicity stunt?
Doing stunts here, but, you know. And this used a filter. You know, the water around this table, you know, was Flint water that was filtered. And it just confirms what we know scientifically, which is that if you're using a filter, if you're installing it, then Flint water at this point is drinkable.
Flint water at this point is drinkable. This is what your president said. Let's go to the other one, because this ain't the only sip. Let's go to this sip.
Water.
It's nasty.
Why is it nasty?
It gives you bad rashes and headaches.
Flint's water crisis began 2 years ago.
Let's go right here.
After the city
Can I get some water?
before a crowd of 1,000.
I really did need a glass of water. This is not a stunt.
President Obama
This is
took
not
a
a
sip
stunt.
of Flint's filtered tap water,
I'm gonna talk about
assuring
this.
the people
Everybody
there that
This
he
is a feisty
cares.
crowd. I've got your back. Not too long ago, I received a letter.
That's your president. He said, ain't nothing wrong with this water. Watch me. You just need a filter. It's y'all president. Symbology. Tokenism. Hey, powers that be, please don't take me out because I talked about Obama. Obama, I ain't got no problem with you, Obama. You the greatest president ever. You the black man. Please don't hurt me. Please don't send your goons. Anyway, back to the presentation. So when Biden says he wants a black woman to be his SCOTUS pick, he doesn't. He doesn't. What he wants is to assuage, to pacify, to deceive the black community into thinking that he cares, into thinking that he did something for him. Patriot J had a wise comment on Twitter. Patriot J said, black people voted for voting rights. That's all you got out of Biden so far. He said you don't have voting rights, but yet y'all went out and voted for him. The black bloc, not the black community, the black bloc, the black voting bloc. We have to be very clear because the black community don't vote. Over half does not vote. So let's not say the black community voted for Biden because they didn't. It's just those paper on the wall, brunch boots Negroes that voted for Biden. Imagine the black community who voted for Biden while Kanye West was running. Imagine that. Now that's some sellout shit. Now that's some coon shit. You can't call me a coon, can't call Uncle Hotep a coon. Uncle Hotep voted for the black man. I didn't vote at all. I don't participate. I don't believe in participating. I come from the school of George Carlin. You know, some people say, hey, if you don't vote, you have no right to complain. And George Carlin cleverly responded. He said, no, you're the one that voted that asshole in. And I, who did not vote, have every right to complain about the mess that you created. He's right. He's absolutely freaking right. Opinionated junkie. Why not a black man? Men are builders. Catches Cam. Drinking unfiltered tap water is letting the government is in your mouth. Oh, my Lord. We're going to dive into racism as it pertains to Joe Biden and the Democratic Party and their use of black bodies to destroy black bodies. Are you guys ready? I hope you're ready. First of all, as a great thinker, those of you watching, listening to this right now, you are a great thinker. We are great thinkers. As a great thinker, you must contradict yourself. Let me say that one more time. Steph Colonel said black women saved America. Timelines, November 20th. You remember that, Steph Colonel? Correct. That's what they said. Black women saved America. This inflation, these gas prices, is that saving America? Have you seen your stock portfolio lately? Is that saving America? Deception. Duplicitous rhetoric. So here I am about to contradict myself. The first statement I'm going to make is, hope you're sitting down. There is no such thing as racism. And I'm going to prove it. I'm going to prove it today. If you're black, you're probably alarmed. You go, oh, Hotep Jesus lost his mind. No, I haven't. I haven't been deceived by the machine. I've been thinking and I've been researching and I've been listening to the greats. What is Black History Month without Walter E. Williams? So I study Walter E. Williams. And we're going to play 2 clips from Walter E. Williams today that are paramount to this conversation. They're quite relevant. They're quite pertinent. So we have to talk about them. Again, there is no such thing as racism. But if there is a such thing as racism, it's the Democratic Party and how they operate. You see, racism comes in the form of aid or help. Ayuda. That's how it comes. In the form of aid and help. It is deceptive. It is overt and covert. It is cryptic. It is not on the right. It is not on the left. It doesn't come in the form of white hoods and Confederate flags. It comes in the form of a donkey and blue flags. It calls itself a socialist. It calls itself a communist. It calls itself a Democrat. It says, I would like to help you with minimum wage. However, these despicable beings use minimum wage to destroy the black community. I, as a student of Walter Williams, understand that South Carolina, North Carolina, people created licensing laws to block people out of specifically black people out of trades such as plumbing and electricity. Now, why do I say there's no such thing as racism? We're going to use Walter E. Williams' example as one, and I'm going to give you another example. The other example I want to give you was put across my desk by Walter E. Williams. And I would say Thaddeus Russell, too. He kind of alluded to it. He just didn't say it the same way as Walter Williams. If racism, some people like to say, hey, white people are inherently racist, and so on and so forth. If, in fact, white people are racist, then you wouldn't need Jim Crow laws. Patrick Cobbett. Cobbett, what up, homie? That's my Hotep homie. Hold on.
Hotep.
Hotep Jesus, my man, you on point. My brother, keep it up. Cobbett, I love you, brother. We will speak soon. Tell Shaka Amos I love him and we will speak soon. There's no such thing as racism. Why? There would be no Jim Crow laws. If white people didn't want to be next to black people, you wouldn't have to create a law to keep them from them. If you created the law, it must mean that white people and black people were fraternizing. They were getting along. You know what happened? Lil Dick Earl found out that Tyrone was banging his wife. And Tyrone hangs out with Jim. And it was during the time hanging with Jim that he ended up banging his wife. So he said, you know what? We got to stop these Negroes from hanging out with white folks because he's too close to our women. So we're going to implement Jim Crow laws. See what I did there with the name Jim? Even though Jim Crow comes from Jumpin' Jim Crow. That would be Al Jolson, I believe his name is. Chat, correct me if I got that name wrong. And he was one of the purporters of blackface performance. So Ham Tard said, we was being hanged, my dude. Oh, your feelings. Oh my God, the white man was hanging us. He was whooping our ass. Yeah, that liberal Democrat sure as hell put that image in your head. It's not the whole picture, Mr. Ham. Yes, we were hung. You know else who was hung too? You know who else was lynched? Let's pull this up on your screen. You see, black people like to act like they own being slaves, like they own being lynched. You know, in Europe, before there was a Negro problem with white people in America, they had a guillotine or they hung you. That's just how white people handled situations. They didn't create the rope for black people. I'm going to put this up on your screen here because you guys need a history lesson. Right here. March 14th, 1891, New Orleans lynchings. were the murders of 11 Italian Americans, Italian immigrants in New Orleans, Louisiana, by a mob for their alleged role in the murder of a city police, David Hennessy, after some of them had been acquitted at trial. It was the largest single mass lynching in American history. What does that say right here? It was one of the largest single mass lynch. They won't tell you Italians was being lynched too. They won't tell you Italians were being discriminated against. It says right here, most of the lynching victims accused in the murder had been rounded up and charged basically due only to their Italian ethnicity. Today, some of you might even consider Italian people white. But Italian people were discriminated against in this country and lynched and murdered and hunted down. Irish people, the same thing. You do not have a monopoly on oppression in America, black man and woman. You do not have a monopoly on oppression in America, black man and woman. You have to let that victim mind go.
This is a sick Negro.
What's wrong with y'all? You see, that is the deception. We're going to get into this in Black History Month. That is the deception, to make you own, to romanticize your connection with slavery, lynching, Jim Crow, and oppression. It has created Stockholm syndrome between the slave and the Democratic Party. You love that history. But while that history is being taught to you and being attached to you, there is history of your people that is not being discussed on this place we call Turtle Island. What about the people of Senegal or Seneca Village in New York City? The mound builders, the Black Seminoles. We have to tell all of history. What about, let's pull something up on your screen. Y'all not gonna like this shit. Y'all not gonna like this. But I'm gonna put it on your screen anyway. Get familiar. The hardcover goes for a whopping $500. And I'll show it to you right now. Black slave owners. Free black slave masters in South Carolina, 1790 to 1860. Says right here, most Americans, both black and white, believe that slavery was a system maintained by whites to exploit blacks. But this authoritative study reveals the extent to which African Americans played a significant role as slave masters. Examining South Carolina's diverse population of African American slave owners, the book demonstrates the free African Americans widely embraced slavery as a viable economic system, and that they, like their white counterparts, exploited the labor of slaves on their farms and their businesses. Black man, where's the full story? We tell parts of history. We don't give the whole story. Now, why? Why have you been taught that your people and your history begins with the white man's boot on your neck? Why? Because subconsciously they want to destroy you. When you're a black child, and you're about to come of age, you got to have the talk. You see, in the white family, when you have the talk, that's about the birds and the bees. But in the black household, you got to have the talk, and that's about racism and what you do when the cops pull you over. Now let's go back further. When you was a child, what they teach you? Martin Luther King, I had a dream, and the white man had his boot on your neck. Black man and woman. They didn't teach you a story that begins with greatness. They excluded the stories of Abu Khari and the Mali Empire. Now you say, oh, we're not African. You contradict yourself, black man and woman. On one hand, you say the white man brought us here from Africa, and the Africans sold us into slavery to the white man. On the other hand, you say we wasn't native. Is you native to this land, or was you brought from Africa? Because if your bloodline comes from Africa, you have to do African studies. Why did they tell you about the Mali Empire, the Songhai Empire, or the black pharaohs of Egypt? Do you know your history? Do you know about 50 Cent doing the movie of Queen Nzinga of Angola? Mansa Musa? Black man and black woman, you have been deceived. I had a t-shirt out I put out a long time ago and I said, black history does not begin at slavery. Yet here in America, black history begins with slavery. Why is it that Martin Luther King gets a holiday and Malcolm X does not? Why is it that we're taught about W.E.B. Du Bois, but we're not taught about his nemesis, Marcus Garvey, the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey? Why are we not taught? Why are we not taught this? Why are we not taught this? Patrick Cobbett said, much love to you, brother. I will definitely pass this message on to Shaka. Catch as can, black and white didn't exist in miscegenation laws. Bingo! You got to study your history. You can't study your emotions. Your emotions will mislead you. I was under this spell at 1.2 and I broke loose. Spirituality led me away, and then it led me to the information and the history, and then I was free. I was free. Imagine telling a child 5 years old that their beginnings was a slave. What you're basically saying is, child, you can achieve nothing more than being a slave. That's what you're telling the child. Your beginnings was a slave. You are a slave. Pensatur 7, thank you. That's what you're telling the child. You're telling the child that they're inferior. You're teaching inferiority to an entire alleged race of people. When you complain, oh, the white man kicked my ass, the white man kicked my ass, the white man. What about the time when you kicked the white man's ass? When you kicked the white man's ass in the French up out of Haiti, Toussaint. Where's that movie, black man? You had a gentleman put out a movie of a slave rebellion, and they pulled up shit about his past, about some alleged rape allegations from 20 years ago that he done beat in court. Because he was telling a story of empowerment. Where's your positive black history stories, black man and black woman? Why is it every time you turn around, they got to give you another slave movie? Because the powers that be, the aristocrats, the oligarchs, don't want you thinking you are anything but that, a slave. This is subconscious programming. It's not conscious programming. This is subconscious programming. And the sad part is we teach it to kids. And that's why I hate CRT being taught in schools. Because CRT being taught in schools, for example, the other day, I saw something about books that are going to be banned, right? And Texas said, we don't want these books. And I go look at these books. And I go and look, and I go, one of them is Martin Luther King. The other one is Ruby Bridges. Is it Ruby Bridges or Ruby Ridges? Hold on, let me look it up. Ruby Bridges, thank you. Ruby Bridges. And I'm going to put this on your screen so everybody's familiar. Right? We're gonna put this on your screen. Everybody knows this. Hold on. Right here. Oh, wait. Oh, I'm in the wrong tab. Hold on. It's gonna be on your screen in a second. And I still got more presentation to give you. Ruby Ridges, here she is, little black girl. Integration. Right? You know what integration was, black man and black woman? Integration was disintegration of the black family. Integration was disintegration of black culture. When we go look at Brown versus the Board of Education, this, which is about integration, and thanks to Thaddeus Russell for putting that absolute gem across my desk. And I think it's pertinent that we pull that up. Hold on. Hopefully. Let's find it. Brown versus the Board of Education. If I don't find it in 2 seconds, then we are going to, I'll just tell you what it says and you go have to do it yourself. Let's see if we can find it here. I want the actual transcript. Let's find the transcript. I'm going to type in transcript, and I want you to see what the white liberal had in store for you, black man and black woman. Right here. Found it. Uh-oh. Y'all in trouble today. Y'all in trouble today. I got too many smart friends in my circle. I'm going to show you what the white liberal had for you, had planned for you, white black man and black woman. I'm going to show you what they had planned for you, so-called black man and black woman. Let's zoom in. Let's zoom in right here. And I'm going to show you what's in this transcript. It says right here, Brown versus Board of Education transcript. Today, it is a principal instrument in awakening to the child to cultural values. This ain't about giving you no fair education and making you feel good. Well, actually, it's got a lot about making you feel good. But it says here, today is a principal instrument in awakening the child to cultural values and preparing him for later professional training and in helping him adjust normally to his environment. Shout out to Thaddeus Russell. Huh? Shine? Cultural values. They don't want you having your black culture shine. They want you having that lily white liberal culture. Put your tie on straight. Don't wear that zoot suit shine. Talk like me, the white liberal. This is Puritan culture. People don't know what Puritan culture is. Let's pull it up on the screen. Let's pull it up. Right here. The Puritans are a member of a religious reform group known as Puritanism. Started in the late 16th century. Let's do Puritans in America. That's better. Actually, I should just found a source. I'll tell you what it is. They was telling you clean up your act. Stand like this. Don't do that. Dress like this. Talk like that. Don't dance. We only do the waltz. This is part of the Puritan movement. Turning you into a square. Thaddeus Russell let you know, say, why can't white people dance? Because they weren't allowed to. It was destroyed from their culture. At one point, they was tap dancing and hanging with the Negroes and having a good old time. And then they were stripped of their culture. Thaddeus Russell tell you that. Renegade University, y'all need to sign up and go get you some education. Puritan. This is Puritanism. Huh? Let's put it back on your screen. Brown versus the Board of Education. Today is the principal instrument in awakening a child to cultural values. Here it says, adjust normally to his environment. What is your definition of normal, white liberal? And what environment are you talking about, white liberal? Is it your environment or the environment that black people create for themselves? Because if you listen to the story as Thaddeus Russell purports, the NAACP goes down south and he asks the black people to say, hey, black people, look, we're about to integrate the schools. Don't you guys want to integrate schools? And they go, no, we don't want to go to white schools. We just want, because we pay taxes, the same amount of funding that comes from the state to go to white schools to come to black schools. We don't want to integrate. And NAACP says, we ain't going to help you unless you integrate. And we all know NAACP was nothing but a white organization. White liberal organization. Socialists, Bolsheviks. The NAACP, their inception. And is the book? Where's the book? Matter of fact, I can pull it up on the internet faster than I can find it next to me. I'm gonna put it right on your screen, right here. Amazon. It's called come on. Marcus Garvey. Writings and speeches of Marcus Garvey. Right here. Select writings and speeches of Marcus Garvey. Go get you a copy of this right here. And in this book, he says he walks into the NAACP office. I forget what location it was. You can go look it up, find it on your own. And he says, shit, everybody in there white. Even the Negroes look white. They was practicing colorism at the NAACP, the inception of. These are Negroes that want to be white. They want to be white liberals. Let's just call it what it is. Let's call it spade a spade right here. Select Writings and Teachings, Marcus Garvey. It's only $6. Everybody should have a copy of this. White, black, blue, yellow, whatever you are, you need to have a copy of this. Dig me? And I would read it to you, but I'll probably find it and we'll discuss that another day. And I'll read that excerpt to you another day. But we're not going to waste time. We're going to bring this back on your screen again. What is Brown versus Board of Education? I'm going to show it to you right here, just in case you don't believe. Some people think we're conspiracy theorists. Transcript, Brown versus the Board of Education, 1954. You see it right there. Come down. Cultural values. This is what this thing is about. Turning Negroes into good old lily white liberals. Put on your suit, Sean. Don't wear it too baggy. Talk like us. Don't think black, think white liberal. When Biden says he wants a SCOTUS pick to be a black woman, he don't really mean a black woman. He mean a liberal black woman. And he need to come out and say that. He need to be honest with us and say, I want a liberal black woman. Because there's no way he would have a conservative or a Republican black woman sitting in that SCOTUS seat because they wouldn't vote the way he wanted her to vote. So don't say you want a black woman in that seat. Say you want a liberal black woman in that seat, Mr. Jab Crow Joe. You want a black woman that's going to sit in that seat and mandate us to get pricked by the same white supremacists that was pricking us back in the day. Running experiments on this is the same industry. Don't get me started. So right here, cultural values. That's what Brown versus Board of Education is. So we talk about CRT and the Texas schools are saying, yo, we don't want to teach. We don't want this book. I forget what the book it is. Anybody got a link to the book list? I know I saw it in a thread somewhere on the internet, and somebody got a link to it. But there was some super chats just came in. I'm gonna read those in a second. But it was I think it was 3 or 4 books. One of them was the Martin Luther King book, and another one was the Ruby Ridges. Now, if you ask me, and you say, Hotep Jesus, we're gonna remove some books from this library. First of all, I don't agree with removing any book from the library. Any book. Black history, white history, blue history, Chinese. It's a book. Keep that shit right there. Unless it's fake information in it, but we might want to keep that book just so we can show people what fake information looks like. However, if you said to me, yo, we're going to move this book about Ruby Ridges, I would say, good, fuck that book. Personal opinion. I don't want my child learning about no goddamn integration. I need my child to be a master of law, finance, mathematics, science. I need my child to understand world history, not black history. I need my child to master world history. I need them to understand how paramount the Russian Revolution was to the fact that we are all now subject to the banking cartel. The Russian Revolution of the communists led to the rise or the complete total domination of Wall Street. That doesn't even sound like it's supposed to make sense. We'll talk about that another time. We will talk about that another time. That's going to go over a lot of y'all head because y'all just ain't read the shit I read. John Henry Clark. What's John Henry Clark going to say? He going to say, you keep talking, you're going to tell me what you haven't read. Malcolm Mackey said, taught history is the OG meme war. Until recently, it was easy for the powers that be to curate the narrative. That's why they come for the internet. Bearded Renter, thank you. He said, just paying my tuition for the day. Much love, Hotep. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Malcolm Mackey, thank you. He said, Du Bois, pronounced Dubois. Studied Herder in Germany. Herder and Hegel's ideas spawned progressivism, Marxism, and Nazism. These were German ideals. Facts. Facts. And this is what they teach us. This is what they want us to learn. These are the figures they give us. The Marxist figures. They don't like black people. They want black people to be Marxists. Brandy, thank you. Hotep. Let's continue with today's presentation because I'm just getting warmed up. How about that? How about that? We just getting warmed up. So, recap. They want a specific type of Negro. One that they can control, one that goes along with the narrative. And as soon as you stop, they want you out. Now, real quick, I'm going to hurt y'all feelings. We're going to go into an instance of racism amongst the GOP because they're not exempt. Real quick, let me give you my definition of racism before we talk about the GOP and this black woman's experience. First of all, we'll talk about that later. My definition of racism. My definition of racism is the desire to preserve the life of your race. If we're saying that skin color is a race, let's assume we're claiming that skin color is a race, right? You're white, you're black, or whatever the fuck terms we're using. Your desire to preserve the life of your race. That's my definition of racism. When I think about a white nationalist, they worried about white people. When I think about black nationalists, they worried about black people. You're a racist in my opinion. Why? Because your life is based around race. So you are a racist. If my decisions were based around class, I'd be a classist. The problem is they contort these words and make them mean something than what they should mean, like racist. A racist is somebody who hates you based upon your skin color. No, that's not true. That's not true. And I'm here to bust your bubble. White people didn't hate you because your skin was black. White people didn't hate you because your skin was black, and I'm going to prove it today. But first, we're going to go into an instance of so-called racism amongst the GOP, and then I'm going to explain why racism really doesn't exist. Hold on to your panties. Put this on your screen. So, how did I come across this woman? I said, all right, so they got all these different picks. Biden's got all these different picks. He can choose to go for SCOTUS. Where are the black female attorneys that are a part of the GOP? Right? Then I looked it up, and Candace Owens' name popped up. She's obviously not an attorney. And then this woman, Sophia Nelson, popped up. And I don't know anything about this woman. So she could be an agent of destruction for all I know. I just want to illustrate something that I know to be a fact. I got Sonny Johnson coming on tomorrow night. You better have your ass right here for that, because that is going to be epic and a historical conversation. I cannot wait for it. We're going to talk about this and more. So she says here, look at the numbers in the Republican Party, Nelson lamented. They're terrible for people of color and African Americans in particular. It's abysmal. It's horrible. It's embarrassing. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why GOP don't got more black people. Because GOP don't care about black people. It's that simple. I wouldn't call it racist, but I would call it racist based upon my definition of racism. The white boys that run the GOP is worried about the white boys, and they should be. White people created the GOP. It should be for white people. I don't want no parts of the GOP. I don't want no parts of the Republican Party. However, if we are going to choose between the two, I think it makes sense to at least vote Republican sometime. I mean, just the basic idea of negotiation, of business. I mean, think about a music artist or a person that's in business, and you're trying to do negotiations. You're trying to figure out which individual is going to get your business. Or you're going to go to one business and you're going to see what they have to offer. And you're going to go to another business and you're going to see what they have to offer. Now, if one side goes, they're really never going to come over here and they're never going to look at me, am I going to really try that hard to get their business? No, I'm not. However, if the party that's doing business was clever and wanted to get the best deal, they would make the two fight over them. But in order for the black bloc to get a better deal from the Democrats, they would actually have to let the Democrats know we might vote Republican. That would be a good, you just have to make them think that you might have to. You don't even have to actually do it. I mean, you probably should actually do it because they're going to call your bluff. So you should actually hit that red button every once in a while, every 4 years, every other 4 years or whatever it is. You should do it. You should absolutely do it. But it's just basic common sense in negotiations. If you want something from the government and there's two parties and you keep voting for one single party, you're going to get a raw deal. You're going to get a terrible deal. And that's why you've been getting rammed up the ass for the past some odd years. That's why you never get anything out of politics. That's why you got voting rights and a black female SCOTUS that's going to mandate jabs on you. Potentially. I'm speculating. But the Republican Party, really, it's really easy to get black votes. I would say it's really easy to convince black people that they should look at the Republican Party. So I'm going to place the blame on black voters, and I'm going to, not the black community, again, black voters, because most of the black community doesn't vote, and most of the black community thinks all of y'all is bullshit, because y'all are. Anyway, black voters, in particular, it's easy to get them. You know what all you had to do? All you had to do was pretend like you cared when Tamir Rice got murdered by the police. When Sean Garner got choked out by the police in New York for selling loose cigarettes. Did you care? Or did you side with the fucking state? You didn't care. Most of you are ready to log out right now. Go. Get the fuck out of here. Go. You don't want to hear about the black lives that was lost. Go. Get your ass out of here. I'll give you 5 seconds. Get the fuck out of here. You don't care about black people. You don't care about anybody. You're not a fucking Christian. Get the fuck out of here. Leave my stream right now. Anyway, let's continue. All you had to do was show a bit of compassion. When Ahmaud Arbery was hunted down by those two crackers down south, all you had to do was what? Show a bit of compassion. A life was lost. Anytime a life is lost, white, black, blue, yellow, whatever, I'm like, damn, that sucks, man. I don't like hearing death. I don't like knowing that somebody had to die. That sucks. That's really terrible. It's tragic, especially being murdered. Why? Because I have compassion. I have a heart. I'm more Christian than Christians. Anyway, let's continue. Let's get back to the presentation. Y'all got me ranting on what is this? Thursday? Grifty Thursday? Hotep Thursday? So right here, she says, as a lawyer, Nelson worked within the party for decades on the legal and advisory teams of Christy Todd Whitman, Pete Wilson, George H.W. Bush, and George W. Bush. Eventually, she said, she grew disillusioned. Her white peers, she explained, were given opportunities for advancement that she, as a qualified, loyal woman of color, was never offered. When she voiced her concerns, she was labeled a troublemaker. I've dealt with that before. Probably from white liberals, but I've dealt with that before. But again, this is a white space. This is a lily white conservative space for the white boys. Not even a white woman gets love over there in the GOP, unless they say so. The white boys created that shit, and it's for the white boys. You, the black woman, is not for you. You need to go create your own shit for yourself. You are a worker for the GOP. Stay in your lane. That's for the white boys. They are racist, yes, because they care about the life of their race. As they should. As they should. Jay Mercy said, food for thought, now we do the dishes. Opinion A junkie, if GOP won and shines, they would give out handouts. It's really not hard to get the black vote. It's really not hard. I'm telling you, it's not hard to get the black vote at all. We still haven't gotten to the Walter E. Williams stuff. Where was I going with this? So I just wanted to show you that you have somebody like Nelson, Miss Nelson, on your side, and she says eventually she became independent, even going so far as to vote for Barack Obama. So I didn't kick the damn, and that even goes for the Lily White movement. Some of y'all don't know about that. Let's put this on your screen. Let's put it on your screen. The Lily White movement was an anti-black political movement within the Republican Party in the United States in the late 19th century and early 20th centuries. It was a response to the political and socio-economic gains made by African Americans following the Civil War and the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, which eliminated slavery. The Republicans, you say, black people, you guys used to be Republican. Don't you remember your history? Yeah, well, the Hoteps do. You kicked us out. You kicked us out the Republican Party. The Republicans literally kicked out the black people from the Republican Party. And now you're like, why won't you guys come back? You kicked us out. Now you want us back? Screw you. Do your histories. You got to know your histories. Otherwise, you're doomed to repeat it. Enough of that. Let's move on to Walter E. Williams. Now, the first piece of evidence for Walter Williams we are going to show today as we begin to wind down here. This is a wonderful
But when you look at
documentation of how racism comes disguised as aid. So let's look at first the history of minimum wage. Shout out to my black people watching this and getting educated. You're getting Hotep pilled right now. Welcome to the future. Hold on, I'm getting a text message. Cool. All right. We're going to play this clip right now and watch.
1990, I believe, and the title is South Africa's War Against Capitalism, where I spent about 3 months in South Africa studying its labor market.
South Africa's War Against Capitalism. Let's pull that up. Right here, Walter E. Williams. Hardcover is $965. They don't want you to have this information, Sean. All the good books on black people are always super dumb expensive. Yeah, get your bubble busted. Let's go back. So this is a video on a channel called Young America's Foundation, How Minimum Wage Laws Discriminate. See, the Bolsheviks would have the paper on the wall Negroes, the brunch boots Negroes, the Negroes who think they know something, out here running around advocating for minimum wage. This is what the white liberal, the duplicitous white liberal will have you do. Oh, we need minimum wage. Black people aren't making enough money. Let's see the history of minimum wage.
And the major supporters in South Africa for the minimum wage law are racist unions that would never hire a black.
Let's bring that back.
South Africa is studying its labor market. And the major supporters in South Africa for the minimum wage law are racist unions that would never hire a black, that would never admit a black. And their stated reason was to have the wage high enough that employers would not hire black workers.
We're going to stop right there. Y'all can go watch the rest on your own. So now I ask, how is it some of you, maybe not some of you, some of others, have purported that, oh, we need minimum wage, but the beginning of minimum wage is a racist act. Apartheid, South Africa. Then they brought it here. Yes, here too. Here too. Here too was minimum wage installed because of racism. Opinionated Junkie said Tea Party movement was pre-MAGA. Indeed, this is true. This is true. So the shine. Paper on the wall Negroes got their degrees and shit. You know, the degrees that the white liberal told them was important to get. They hang them on the wall and they proud of them. Oh, yeah, I got the degree, girl. Oh, look at me, girl. Mm-hmm. Oh, hold up. I just got my degree. I need to do a photo shoot, put on this pretty dress. I got a degree. Mm-hmm. The white man told me I'm educated. Mm-hmm. But you're dumb as shit. You don't know shit. Could have got your education from YouTube University. You got it from the white liberal. Now you're deceived and you're pushing policies that kill your people. Now I'm not going to go into the whole situation of how. Actually, yes, I am. So how does minimum wage exactly destroy the black community? Well, it hurts two entities. First, we have the employer, then we have the employee. First, we're going to start with the employer. Let's say you want to start up a business and your business needs some help. And you want to hire some people to help you. But you're black and you're broke. You ain't got enough money, but you got a little bit. And you know some people that you can hire and they'll take that little bit. They're like, yo, you can only give me $5 an hour. That's cool. That'll get me something to eat. I'm fine with that. You're like, cool, word, let's build this business together. I pay that $5 an hour and we cool. And then the government catches you. The white liberal come around and say, nigga, you ain't follow the rules. Pay this fine and lock your black ass up. Mass incarceration. You're like, damn, I was just trying to feed my family. I was just trying to help other black people feed themselves. Now, who can afford to pay the $15 minimum wage? You know who can? Large, big corporations, big tech, Amazon. So you're going to see everybody getting engulfed by the big corporations because the big corporations are the only ones that can afford to pay anybody minimum wage. The rest of us, and they want to abolish cash. The rest of us are trying to get away with it, paying people in cash. Hey, put in cash so that way, nobody got to declare this and nobody got to know about it and I ain't got to go to jail. It's between us under the table, right? That's why they want to abolish cash and bring in that whole one world digital currency through the cryptocurrency, blockchain, et cetera, et cetera. Go get your Bitcoin from coinbitsapp.com, by the way. Coinbits.app. So you ask, how does it hurt the employer? I just showed you how it hurts the employer. He can't build his business. He has the potential to go to jail. So how is the black community supposed to uplift itself? How is it supposed to have any mobility? How is it supposed to pull itself up by its bootstraps? Minimum wage, destroying the employer. I can't get my business off the ground. Now let's talk about how it hurts the employee. People say, oh, nobody can live off of a wage of $5 an hour. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But let's take a look at the jobs that you get at minimum wage. $15 an hour. Sure, you get a $15 an hour job. But you know where you're working? McDonald's, Target, Walmart, Amazon, FedEx, UPS, big business, big corp. What skills are you really getting? Oh, you fucking learned how to. Basically, you're going to get skills that are going to be replaced by a machine. Automation is going to remove you from the market. You could have got a job as a mechanic, airplane mechanic, electrician, plumber, et cetera, and got some real skills, HVAC. You could have got some real skills. So really what minimum wage does, it prevents the lower class from gaining marketable skills, which will allow them to rise the ranks from lower class to lower middle class to upper middle class, et cetera, et cetera. That's what minimum wage does. It destroys the individual's ability to get marketable skills. So you say nobody can live off of this wage. You're right. But what about the individual who is able to become a plumber and launch a plumbing business, and now he's employing 30 black people in his community because once upon a time he was able to work for $5 an hour to learn how to fix those pipes, to learn how to install that toilet, to learn how to redo a bathroom. You know how much it costs to redo a bathroom, y'all? It's a lot of money, a lot of money. And now he can take that skill. After only a year of work, he worked for a year and he made, let's say, $10,000 for the year, $20,000 for the year. You say, oh, it's not enough. But you know how much his skills are worth the next year, Sean? $50,000, $60,000, 6 figures in 1 year. Some of y'all go to school for 4 years. You spend 6 figures, 5 figures on that garbage education. You get loans and end up in debt, and you come out and you still don't make that same much. And if you had and got trade after only 1 year, you could potentially open up your own business and have a 6-figure income. If somebody would have allowed you to learn, if you were able to do an apprenticeship for a nominal wage. That's your education on how minimum wage destroys the employer and employee and is a direct attack on black people. So when they say racism, systemic racism, ayuda is how racism is implemented. It comes as a pat on the back with a knife. That's how the Democrat comes. They put the arm around your head, around your back, but they got a knife ready to stab you with it. Malcolm X Ben told you. Let's go to the next clip. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring this next clip up is because last night and a little bit today, some black Twitter users trended a hashtag called Secure the Tribe. And I spoke about this in the beginning of this presentation today. Secure the tribe. What does secure the tribe even mean? Well, what they're saying is that immigration is hurting black people's livelihood in America, upward mobility. Immigrations are taking opportunities away, jobs, resources, government assistance, etc. And they're absolutely right. They absolutely are. But again, like I said in the beginning of the stream, I hope these people voted for Trump because they sound like Trumpers. Now, this was an argument between black Americans and Africans, Nigerians, etc. I find the argument to be quite frivolous and counterproductive.
This is a sick Negro.
This is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely preposterous, this conversation of secure the tribe because Africans are coming here, da 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 da. And I'm going to show you why it's absolutely ridiculous in just a moment when I pull up another clip from Walter Williams. The chat says I'm on one today. I'm very passionate about this subject because I hate when people are deceived with this race conversation. So these black Twitter users opened up a space, a Twitter space last night, and today people are still grifting off of this conversation. It was trending top 5, top 10 or something to that effect. Tariq Nasheed was grifting in there, and they're complaining. ADOS, American Descendants of Slaves, and FBA, Foundational Black Americans, were complaining because Africans are coming to America and doing better than them and taking food off of their plate. Such a ridiculous complaint. Ridiculous complaint. However, they sound just like conservatives and Republicans wanting to close the border. So I say to these secure the tribe people, shouldn't they say, build the wall? They sound like they need to go out and go get some MAGA hats. That's what they sound like to me. I'm like, damn, y'all sound just like Trumpers. So I hope they voted for Trump. I don't know who they voted for, but I hope they voted for Trump. Hamtard says, I bet you an island nigga. I am. My mama from here, my daddy from an island. You Sean's got a lot of work to do. So they're having this conversation, right? Now, me, as a black American, do I believe that black Americans are hurt by immigration? Hell fucking yeah, they are. I think they have a legitimate argument. Immigration does hurt the black American. This has been documented. It's taking away resources from black people. Now, Hotep Jesus, what the hell does this have to do with racism? Q. Walter Williams. Darlene, can you please play the clip from Walter Williams? Let's go to that right now. Hold on. Let me set the timestamp. Right here. Ready? Let's get it.
That's some racial aspects because while I was doing the study of the tax cab industry, when I jumped in the cab, I would try to get some anecdotal stuff, and I'd strike up a conversation with the driver.
So a little bit of background on this story. Walter E. Williams was collecting data, doing a study on the cab industry, because obviously he's an economics guy. So he was doing some research to study, race and economics, et cetera, et cetera. So when he hops in his cab, he's trying to get some anecdotal evidence or data from this cab driver.
And one time I landed at D.C. National Airport, and
so real quick, just to reiterate for people who just got here, one of the things he discovered was New York City didn't have as many black cab drivers as Washington, D.C. Okay. And he's like trying to figure out why this phenomenon is. Why is it I go to D.C., Washington, D.C., and there's black cab drivers everywhere, but I go to New York and there's no cab drivers? So some fool might say, oh, New York's more racist than Washington, D.C. So New York has more racism than Washington, D.C. Is it really racism? Is it white supremacy? Is it systemic racism or something like that? And what he found was the cost for a cabbie license was 6 figures in New York, where it was only a few $100s in Washington, D.C. Now you got the backstory. Let's finish this story from Walter Williams.
A black driver picked me up, and I said to him, gee, you guys are lucky in Washington, D.C. You don't have to go out and buy a $65,000 license in order to be in business. And he said to me, well, we've been trying to get the medallion system or licensing system here, but Congress won't go along with it. And Congress controls Washington, D.C. And so he said to me, he says, as it is, it's so cheap to get into business that we have these damn Pakistanis coming in and the West Indians and Arabs and everybody else horning in on our business.
Boom. Did y'all catch that? Did y'all catch that? Did y'all catch that? Oh, I gotta spell it out for you. Let's play it one more time, and then I'm gonna spell it out for you because I know some of you may have missed the pertinence. So let's do it one more time.
They see that the license to own and operate a taxi is under $100, and $100 differs significantly from $65,000. Furthermore,
correction, the license at that time to get a cabbie license, he says, was $65,000.
As a result of having an open market in Washington, D.C., many people benefit. That is, Washington has the highest quality cab service of any city in the United States if you measure quality, keep the outs out, so that they can charge us higher prices and earn. The tax cab industry, when I jumped in the cab, I would try to get some anecdotal stuff, and I'd strike up a conversation with the driver. And one time I landed at D.C. National Airport, and a black driver picked me up. And
subscribe, because we drop fire on this channel all the time, daily. So hit the subscribe button right now if you have not done so already.
I said to him, gee, you guys are lucky in Washington, D.C. You don't have to go out and buy a $65,000 license in order to be in business. And he said to me, well, we've been trying to get the medallion system or licensing system here, but Congress won't go along with it. And Congress controls Washington, D.C.
So the black cab driver wants a similar system to the one in New York. Why? Let him continue.
And so he said to me, he says, as it is, it's so cheap to get into business that we have these damn Pakistanis coming in and the West Indians and Arabs and everybody else.
You hear that? We got these damn Pakistanis, these Arabs, these West Indians. What does that sound like to you? Don't that sound like a racist black cab driver upset because people are coming in and encroaching on his territory and taking away from his plate? We're going to dive into this. We're going to dissect this in just a moment. I'm going to let him finish.
Horning in on our business. So I say that to point out to you that it's not an issue of race. It's more of an issue of the ins versus the outs. And
Black History Month needs to celebrate Walter E. Williams. Let's play that one more time.
So I say that to point out to you that it's not an issue of race. It's more of an issue of the ins versus the outs. And the ins want a mechanism to keep the outs out so that they can charge us higher prices and earn higher income and higher wages, higher profits.
Boom. Boom. So, what does this have to do with ADOS, FBA, and black people complaining about immigrants and whatever? Well, I would like to tell them that they are literally showing why racism does not exist. What exists is, as Walter E. Williams purports, in and outism. In and outism. You see, when the white man was here on the land and black people were on the out and white people were on the in, when black people were released from slavery, they were then encroaching upon the resources and opportunities of the white man. And the white man said, these damn immigrants are encroaching upon my opportunity. So is it that white people hated black people? I would say not. What they hated was food being taken off of their plate, just like the ADOS complained that the African is taking food off of their plate. So you can't complain about the African immigrant and racism at the same damn time. Yes, Pariah the Bones, he said it's economic protectionism. Thank you. Thank you. You can't do both, Sean. Either it's racism and you love Africans and don't mind them coming here. You don't mind the Mexican coming here. You don't mind the Haitian coming here, the Jamaican coming here. But you can't complain about racism and white nationalism and immigration at the same time. It's a contradiction. It's a contradiction. You can't do both. It's economic protectionism. And what are they doing? Tariq Nasheed and them. Tariq Nasheed get on the internet, complain about white people and the history of racism, and then get on the internet and complain about Africans coming here and taking opportunities. He sounds like a white supremacist to me.
This is a sick Negro. This is a sick Negro. This is a sick Negro. Oh, bootlicking, buck dancing, scratching, shuffling.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear. Tariq Nasheed, you are.
This is a sick Negro.
Racism. How? Here's the issue. Whatever alien life form, God, intelligence, sick game that's being played is, they drop this organism off on this planet. And this planet has a finite amount of resources. In fact, this is a great time to open up Thomas Sowell, Basic Economics, page 1. Are you ready? Right here, page 2. Some of y'all don't like to read. It's right there on page 2. I'm gonna read this excerpt, and he gives the definition of economics. Economics is a study of the use of scarce resources, which have alternative uses. Economics is the exchange of scarce goods and resources. Right here on this page, you will see he uses the term scarcity. And we're going to define this because this is the problem with Earth. Scarcity. What does scarce mean? It means that what everybody wants adds up to more than there is. That's what he defines scarcity as. So there are a finite amount of resources, and we are left to fight over them. This isn't about black or white. This is about ins and outs, haves and have-nots. If you have the resources, I'm either going to ask you for them, buy them from you, or colonize them. Scarce good. When you talk about economics, you cannot remove the term scarce because these are not infinite resources. You following people. Now, how does this make sense? Let's tie this all together. Racism, all this. Okay. It is not that they hate the black skin. It is because the organism of human life on this planet and its ego, its selfish ego, and its selfish ego are at odds. Those who have want to hoard, and those who don't have want to take. There is very little fair exchange. Actually, I shouldn't say there is very little fair exchange. I shouldn't say that. There is a lot of fair exchange. But there are times where conflict comes about, and conflict often has been coerced. In my book, Patriot Report, Unmasking the Conspiracy of Money and War, bing bong, you can create panics, as we know. Several panics were created, the Great Depression. And what does that do? That creates scarcity. Scarcity does what? Pushes people to the edge and causes them to fight. So a lot of the scarcity on the planet is artificially created in many ways. We're going to see that this year when they increase the interest rates at the Fed and shrink the supply of money through the mechanism called deflation. But that's really what we're dealing with here, people. It's not about racism. It's about these resources and how it's not enough to go around. And for example, you worked and the government come around and say, hey, I need a piece of your check. It's got to go to some people for their health care. But these people have been eating McDonald's, smoking cigarettes, drinking alcohol, doing drugs. But for some reason, I have to take care of these people. Is it fair that we come and take from you to give to a people who haven't lived their life properly? Of course not. It's not fair. This is how scarcity is created. This is how animosity is created artificially through the means of government, through the entity that is government, the state. KB said he just bought my book off Amazon. Thank you. Queen D says she late. Oh, girl, you done missed a good one. This is a classic right here. Filled in my bones. It is the ego, or as Jung would put it, the id, and our inability to manage it, which causes strife. Some people don't want to share, and other people, even when you share with them, they want to take more than what you got to give. So is there racism? No. There's no such thing as racism. But if there is racism, you know what racism is? Racism is Brown versus the Board of Education. Racism is Joe Biden's SCOTUS pick, which only selects a liberal black woman. He's not saying, hey, black people, who do you want? Who's in your best interest? Because we all know the black community, for the most part, is very conservative. Right? Right? This is what's happening here. The deception, the use of black bodies. You know what kills me? They run around screaming feminism, black feminism, misogynoir. But nobody uses the black woman's body more than the white liberal. They've beaten the black woman and then stripped her of her clothing. They told her, black woman, do sex work. That's empowering. Sex work, get naked. Expose yourself. Now, there's no diss to sex work. Some people do that shit. It is what it is. Get your money, get your coins. But the white liberal doesn't say or doesn't create any balance. It's one thing to say, hey, sex work is cool, but it's another thing to say, hey, conservatism is cool too. You got to have some balance. But they don't say that. The white liberal never talk to me. They'll never put me on their platforms. The white liberal will never talk to Sonny Johnson. It will never give us a spot or a role. Why? Because we're just what they would say is edgy or radical. No, we have common sense. And you guys are agents of destruction. And then you come about and you use black women. Black women, my heart goes out to you. I feel so bad that you've been deceived. And the white liberals turned you into nothing but fodder for their agenda. Fodder. That's what the black woman is. Fodder. You are a medium of exchange for Marxism. The black woman is a medium of exchange for Marxism. What is Black Lives Matter but a Marxist organization? And what do they always say? Black women were on the front lines of Black Lives Matter. You are fodder for Marxism. You know what Marxism said about black people? You know how many N-words he dropped? This is the dude y'all following. This is the dude y'all following. So if there is racism, which we've proven there is not, it is resting comfortably at the Democratic Party bed, chilling, unbeknownst to most of the black public. It is the elephant in the room which is not being discussed. It is anti-feminism to treat black women as nothing more than fodder. That's racism. Racism is Brown versus the Board of Education. When you tell black people, hey, it's something wrong with your culture. We went over that earlier. Rewind the tape. That's racism. When you tell black people, hey, you got to be more like us. That's racism. Racism is when a black person speaks up and the white liberal don't agree. And they call you all sorts of names, try to blackball you from the media. Racism is when they tell you because you're black, you can't get ID to vote. That's racism. You're telling me as a black person, I can't get ID to vote? Racism is when they say you're so dumb, black man and woman, that we have to change our educational regulations. We have to lower the bar for black people because they're just too stupid to learn anything. Mathematics is racism because black people don't understand it. That is racism, people. When they lower the bar for entry because they think you're too stupid to understand. That's racism. Racism is when black people say no to a medical product and you lock them in the house. Racism is when black people say no as an entire group, in the majority as a group, say no to a medical product, and you say, we're going to mandate it at your jobs. If you work for us, if you work for the government, OSHA, get these niggas they medicine. That is systemic racism. That is white supremacy. He Goes Way said Africans and African Americans is trending on Twitter. If it ain't racism, it's intertribal beefing. This is what I'm talking about. You see it's trending right now? This is exactly what we've covered today. The white liberal is so intelligent that they can get the black race on the planet to argue amongst themselves while the white liberal laughs in the background. Racism is when Dr. Stella Emanuel says there are alternative medicines to combat a virus, and the media calls her a Trump doctor. Don't listen to this black woman. Listen to the prescribed and approved version of black women that we like. Racism is when you say Martin Luther King is good and Martin Luther King is bad. Racism is when you say Martin Luther King deserves a holiday, but Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey do not deserve one. Racism is when you teach us W.E.B. Du Bois, but don't teach us about Marcus Garvey. Racism is when you tell us we're slaves, but don't tell us we were slave owners. Racism is when you teach us that our history begins with slavery, but you don't teach us about the kingdoms in Africa. Racism is when you decouple our history from the people of Turtle Island. You decouple our history from the people of the continent of Africa. Racism is when you don't tell us about King Kamehameha in Hawaii. That is racism. That is systemic white supremacy. Again, I reiterate, racism is when you come out with a medical product that black people say no to and you say, shut up, nigga, take this shit, or else you won't have a job. That is racism. That is racism. Greg B said tuition, thank you. Racism isn't the inept and impotent white man with a hood on who's crying because he's a victim of having scarce resources, or the white man who's just a plain old trucker trying to get by with his Confederate flag. That's not racism. It's economic protectionism, and we've covered that already. Racism is when black people as a whole say no to a medical product and Joe Biden and the rest of his gang of liberals, his cartel of drug dealers, say, no, nigga, take your medicine or lose your job. That is systemic white supremacy. That is systemic racism. That is crypto racism. That is institutional racism. They say, oh, you work for me, black man, black woman? You have a medical job attached to the government? Well, guess what? That means you're going to follow my rules, nigga. That's my body. That's not your body. That's my body, nigga. And if I say you're going to take this medical product, you're going to take this medical product, or you can go find a job somewhere else. Bearded Renter said, paying tuition twice a day because you're on fire. Much love, Hotep. Kamar Daniels, donations, donations, donations. One more time for the chat.
Hotep.
Ty Sullivan, $20. Thank you. T-Ball says it affects us too. Relax, white man. This is the problem with some of you white folks. When you not being talked about, you like me too. You like a bitch. You like a little bitch. You like a little kid. That's what you are. There's a little kid say, but what about me? That's what a woman will say. But what about me? We ain't talking about you right now, white man. When we get to you, we gonna get to you. I talk about white people plenty enough on this channel. We gonna get to you when we get to you, white man. Yes, you are a victim of these medical products. Absolutely you are. But we ain't talking about that right now. You wait your turn. That's racism. That is an example of racism. When we're talking about black people and you want to insert yourself in the conversation because you feel like your feelings is hurt too, because we ain't talking about you too. What about me? What about me? What about me? Sit your ass down somewhere and listen. Racism, thank you. Racism is when a white man could get on TV and tell you if you don't vote for him, you ain't black. That's racism. Frank O, tuition for the facts, thank you. What about me? What about me? We ain't talking about you right now. Talk about you 99% of the year. They should have had me on Fox News. Fox News scared of me. Fox News scared of me. Fox News, why you ain't have my black face on there? Why Lawrence Jones got to be the one to bring me up there? You know why I'm a little too radical for Fox News? I'm a little too, what they say, edgy on Fox News to be on Fox News. Letitia Roberts, thank you. Fire. Fox News scared of me too, because they scared I might slip up and say something that they base won't like. That's what they're afraid of. They're afraid I might get people thinking. You know what the truth is? Fox News scared because I'm anti-status. That's what it comes down to. And all these people are status. On that note, I digress. I hang around for 5 minutes, talk to the chat. T-Ball, enough said. Thank you, sir. I appreciate everybody for viewing the conversation today. Real quick, let me put something across your screen to show you what Hotep Nation is about, because some of you are unaware. So I'm going to put this on your screen. I done lost my voice. Y'all got me ranting on a Thursday. It's Hotep Thursday. Grifties come out tonight. 7 p.m., 2 hours from now, Grifties drop. Homeschool America, this is our mission. We already have 41 donors, 2,800 raised. I'm thankful to all the donors that we have so far, so we can blow out this homeschooling program this year. But that's what we're about. That's our mission as Hotep Nation. If you go right here to the FAQ page, you can watch our documentary. We do have a documentary. Please go watch that, and you'll learn about Hotep. We have the fact right here. You can learn what is Hotep and all of that. So please go check out the website, hotepnation.com. We your last hope. We are your last hope. Promise you that. Promise you that. Bearded said, I appreciate this show. Hotep going to share this everywhere. I love the homeschool initiative. I will donate again soon. If you donated once and you donate twice, well, goddamn, God bless you. I love you. I appreciate you. You guys are the real MVP. You guys came, you watched, and you listened to me. You were a great audience today. White people, I love you. Black people, I love you. If I didn't mention your race, don't say, what about me? I love you too, motherfucker. I love all y'all. I love all of humanity. And until we love all of humanity, we will all suffer. You must understand that racism is a distraction, and it's about classism. The aristocrats knew what they were doing when they put black and white folks at odds. White man, your greatest ally is the black man. And black man, your greatest ally is the white man. We have to sit down. We have to have conversations. We have to listen to each other. We have to understand everybody's desires, needs, and wants. That's what we have to do. We have to understand everybody's needs and wants and desires and figure out how we can help each other. Minister Jap Network says, salute to Scholar Hotep. Oh, Minister Jap, what up, homie? If y'all not glued into Minister Jap's channel, oh, y'all missing out on some great content. Great content. That is one of my brothers over there at Donovan Sharp Show, the 6th. We start up, is it this Sunday or next Sunday? But subscribe to Donovan Sharp. We talk to men about masculinity every Sunday. The show's going to start at 5 p.m. from now on. So make sure y'all get in good. Faith Evans, how can I send an article to you? Tag me on Twitter. This Sunday, I'll be live. Who we got? Coach EO, Donovan Sharp, Minister Jap, Rollo Tomasi, Savo, and yours truly. I mean, damn. Damn. Every Sunday at 5 p.m. on Donovan Sharp's channel, you're going to catch me, Minister Jap, Rolo Tomasi, Donovan Sharp, Coach EO, and Savo. And we drop gems on masculinity, which is so needed right now. Draco said they need to get you back on Timcast and Rogan. I will be coming back to Timcast and Rogan. I will reach out to them and see if I can get back on their platforms, and we'll make that happen soon. I have not reached out because I've been working on myself. I've been studying and trying to improve my intellect. But at some point I will reach out and go back on those platforms. I just want to make sure when I go back on there, I have a lot of ammunition and I bring the best of me. You want me to hold up the book again? Sure. Right here. The Patriot Report, Unmasking the Conspiracy of Money and War. If you don't have the money, don't want to purchase it, don't read, don't like to read, can't read, or reading puts you to sleep, I did a video. I do videos on every chapter except for the first chapter. And they're on here. Go to the Patriot Report playlist and you'll see it there. Gone says, weren't you just saying love wasn't a real concept in the beginning of the stream? You also missed something else that I said, Gone. You also missed something else. What do we say about intellectuals, people? What do intellectuals do? They contradict themselves. Gone. Your gotcha games don't work here, man. They just don't work. They just don't work. Some people will get it, some people won't. If you don't get it, it's because you don't want to get it. If you get it, it's because you wanted to get it. And them's just the facts. Them's just the facts. Franco said today was some heat. Thank you. Mr. Watt said, praise Hotep X, black and white, same size, same fight. Hotep X, that's funny. Oh, man. I'm out of here. Check my Twitter. I'm about to do a 1 minute short of this. What is this? 2 hours I did. I'm going to do this same thing in under 60 seconds and post it to Twitter. So look out for that. Get ready to hit the retweet button. I love y'all. Hotep and Bill.